It doesn't really matter if you are a speaker, author, coach, creative, influencer. It doesn't matter if you're a medical doctor, a lawyer, a barber, a beautician. I mean, the World Economic Forum has said that 44% of all job skills will need to change between now and 2030. That's 4 years away. What have you done in your life that's valuable to others? Most people just kind of look at their profession and their job or their career, but ultimately any problem that you've solved in your life for yourself or for anybody else could potentially be a productized service that you can deliver out. So ultimately, all we're doing is testing. Business is just a bunch of little micro experiments that you're running. So at the point where someone says, "Oh, you coach, put together books, you have a studio, how much is it?" Like when you start hearing those questions like that, that's market test.
Come on, this is the illest rhyme I ever wrote. Said I was born to be told.
All right, let's jump right into it. Before we get started, remember you can like, subscribe, follow, share, all that good stuff on the show. We only grow if you help us grow. So we want you to tell your friends about it, subscribe to the show, hit that notifications button. But let's jump into it. Make sure, before we do that, one more thing. Make sure you can join the Born to Be Dope Cypher, leadership community at borntobedope.com. Go ahead. You'll see the link to click there. Go join the group. It's free, y'all. It's free. It's our leadership cyphers, our community where you can grow with like-minded leaders, talk about stuff, learn, build your business, learn how we master, magnify, and monetize your business, 10x your impact, influence, and income, being unapologetically dope at being you. That's what we do. Join the Cypher. It's free. Let's jump right into this, man. How are you?
I'm great, man. First of all, I love the Cypher. It's a cool name for a community because you could have called it you could have called it a bunch of things, but the Cypher.
Cypher, man. You know, Born to Be Dope is all about, it's inspired by hip hop. So we try to sprinkle in some hip hop elements in there. I'm in the hip hop generation.
The Cypher. Yeah, when you're in the
Cypher, right. We be freestyling in on Tuesdays.
Okay. I made my rap debut back in college.
I think I wonder how many guys did that because I think most of us had some kind of debut. For me, it was singing. So I did my debut in college with singing. But yeah, hey, that's what college is so. That's why it's so important.
Because you got to branch out and see what you.
Make sure y'all see that.
The HU.
Repping the HU today, right? So we gonna do that, man. And
Morgan State University.
Shout out for Morgan, with the National Treasure.
National Treasure.
That's right. Shout
we
out
on
to y'all.
brand.
So still a little bit about Mackenzie giving y'all that money. She ain't giving nothing to Hampton the second time around. But
do y'all need money? Y'all got land. Like y'all want some nice real estate out in the 757. We kind of landlocked out there, so we got to build up. It costs money.
Yeah, I mean we all limited because we got the beautiful waterfront and the river right there. So you been to Hampton before? You been?
My family is actually from Richmond. Are you familiar with Franklin, Virginia? Small.
No, I feel like I might have heard of it, but I might be confused.
It's part of 757.
Okay.
My grandfather was from there, so was my basically that entire side of the lineage. And so I went to a family reunion actually in Virginia Beach this past summer.
Oh, okay.
200 people. Like, have you been in a room with 200 people with your last name?
Nah, never.
I didn't even know I had that many relatives. So yeah, we're deep in the Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Suffolk, that whole seven cities area.
7 cities, that's right.
The Olds clan is we
I see some Olds down there. I know they're your kin.
They my kinfolk.
All right, good stuff, man. Let's jump into this, man. So before we get into this, let's talk about how we got started. Because this show we talk about, my main thing is trying to help people build brands, but it's about being unapologetically great at being you.
Yes.
And as a speaker, and specifically in this industry, we talk about and you being in charge, the founder of the Black Speakers Network. Let's start with what you've seen with speakers in general, because the reason this whole brand even started, because I know when I got started in speaking, it's been over 20 years now, I felt like I had to wear the suits. I had to speak like everyone else I saw. I had to do what they did. And even with social media, I think people still are in that trap where you feel like you got to do what everybody else does in order to be successful. What have you seen in the speaking industry that's really helped people set themselves apart as opposed to thinking I got to be like everybody else?
Yeah, I think the biggest mistake that speakers can make, but to an extent, I think it's necessary a little bit, because anytime we're entering a new industry, we're always trying to emulate the folks who are successful.
Good point.
Doesn't matter if you're trying to be a golfer, like if trying to, you look at the greats and then you try to figure out the fundamentals. Once you master the fundamentals, then you begin to figure out what is your own vibe, your own, you bring your own swagger. And so speaking is the same. I think oftentimes I grew up listening to Les Brown, the Lisa Nichols of the world. I remember hearing some of your presentations too. I mean, going back, it seems far now, but I was on the campus of Morgan State University about 20 years ago, and that's when you were.
Yeah, you're right. That's how we met.
Yeah.
Like, Brian was a college student when I was speaking on campus. Shout out to Omar Muhammad. He was the first person. He was my neighbor. He was the first person.
He's your neighbor?
He was. He grew right across the street from me.
Small town.
But he was the first person to give me a platform to speak. One of the first radio shows I was on. So Omar done some great work with Morgan. Shout out to him.
I think it's important. I knew when I was coming up through speaking, through Toastmasters and other programs, learning the mechanics, it was important to figure that style out. So you're learning vocal variety, hand gestures, how to get comfortable being on stage. But once you get to that point, then you have to start not looking outside, but looking internally to see what is that unique combination. In Black Speakers Network, we talk about helping people find their speaker sweet spot.
Yeah.
So do you remember in school how we used to have the Venn diagrams, the two circles?
Yep.
So imagine two of those circles that intersect, right? But just add a third circle.
Gotcha.
And so one circle is for passion. So like, what is it that makes you unique, that lights you up inside? So Ryan, I could probably wake you up 2 a.m. in the morning and ask you any question about writing a book or creating a platform or any of the technology in this office, and you could answer it because you're passionate about it. The second circle is expertise. And so what are your life experiences? What have you done in your life that's valuable to others? Most people just kind of look at their profession and their job or their career, but ultimately any problem that you've solved in your life for yourself or for anybody else could potentially be a productized service that you can deliver out. And then the third, which I would argue that's probably most important, is market demand. And so it's great. It's nice to be passionate about something. It's nice that you've done something, but what does the world actually need from you, and what is the delivery of that going to look like? And so when you look at the intersection of those three circles, that is the speaker sweet spot. If you can focus in on the intersection of those three things, not only will you ultimately be able to reach the audience you're called to serve, but you can also monetize your message.
That's so good, man. That's so good, because I know people get tired of me sometimes, I'm sure, because I just, if it's on my mind, I'm going to say it, right? I'll apologize later. But one of the biggest things I always see with, and maybe it's not just all speakers, but in my space, because I'm kind of in that personal development space, is that it seems like a lot of people want to get started. And I did the same thing, so I'm not poo-pooing on people, is that you want to, I'm going to need this. Notes. But they get started with the purpose, finding your purpose type, stuff. And it's like, it's important, you need it, I agree with it, but what I see a lot of people, they struggle with the market demand part for it. Like, how do you differentiate yourself? Okay, one, I don't necessarily think I can tell anybody what their purpose is. I can just show you how to walk towards it, and then once you're in it, how to monetize it. That's what I do. But when you're talking about that kind of thing, or something that's more generic, more subjective, when you're talking about monetization, we're talking about that piece and market demand. What is like and I use that as an example, but there's other things out there. What is a tip that you would give people on how to maybe differentiate, or how to figure out how to fit into the market, what is their expertise is?
Yeah, I think sometimes and I'm guilty of this too, because early in my career, I tell people all the time, I originally didn't want to be in business. I wanted to be an engineer.
Yeah, right, remember that, right. Tell the story. I've heard it, but I like it. Tell us.
And honestly, I don't even think I knew exactly what I wanted, because I didn't go do a realistic job preview at NASA, so I didn't know what engineers do. I probably would have been bored with it, to be honest, if I did it. But one of the things I think is very important is for us to have an understanding of where we're trying to get to. Mm-hmm. When I got to Calc 2 and I was at Morgan State University, and I said, let me just go see what the School of Business is talking about. I ended up switching to business by default. Now, I'm happy I did, but business school is a weird place, because in my mind, you don't really understand business until you start one or work in another company and really see the X's and O's. So they taught us, and again, shout out to Earl G. Gray School of Business. I think they did a great job preparing us, but the sequencing doesn't match how we learn in the real world. And so we're learning financial concepts, accounting, marketing, and it's a lot of fancy, $10 words. But
it's kind of like they give you the because I'm a marketing degree from Hampton University, and it's like they give you the foundation so that when you're in the real world, I've heard of this before, but you don't necessarily know anything about it, right? You don't know how to apply it. So I agree with you on that. It's like you got and I always say you got a lot of people teaching you business who never actually run a business.
Never actually run a business, or if they have run a business. And so the idea is to move from theory to execution. And so when we talk about market demand, someone who's, again, maybe not coming from an entrepreneur perspective, they may think, that's too much. But all market demand is will someone pay for a product or service you have? And if they will pay for it, at what price point? How do they want to deliver it? And then how can you improve upon that product or service? And so ultimately, all we're doing is testing. Like business is just a bunch of little micro experiments that you're running. So at the point where someone says, "Oh, you coach, you put together books, you have a studio, how much is it?" Like when you start hearing those questions like that, that's a market test. But the biggest test of market demand is, it's how much? Okay, I'll pull out my credit card. Like I don't care if it's $1. Once you make $1, you have successfully proven that there is a person that is willing to exchange money for whatever you're providing. And then once you start asking questions to find out exactly not only why that person bought, but will they purchase again, and then creating products and services to repeat and scale the process. That's all business is, from my perspective.
I agree. That's rich, because in adding to that, what I see and what I've learned along the way, and try to help people know too, is that we do that and we think business. We think I got to get everybody. No, especially now. I'm gonna go back to your testing piece too, because social media has kind of messed that up for some people. So hold that. Don't make me forget. I'm older than you, so I might forget. But
I got you.
But see, now I forgot the first thing I was talking about. But so let's go to the testing piece. So the testing piece, like the thing with social media now is that that's what we're doing in entrepreneurship, is we're testing. But the thing is, you put something out, like I'm doing a program, I'm doing an event, and people do, and like maybe get 2 people come. But the thing is, you got to put it on social media. So now it looks like it's a failure if it doesn't succeed or doesn't take all. I know it's the number of customers you need. Now it looks like a failure, so people start getting afraid to test. Whereas in the past, when we came up out of school, nobody could see the test, just the people who you individually talk to. But now if I go post something online, I'm worried about, if 10,000 people don't come and sign up, people going to think I'm a fraud. People going to think it's bad. And that's what I want to go back to about the number of people. You don't need 1 million people in your business when you build it right. You just need you need to know what group you need. 100 people can sustain someone's business for their lifetime if you build it right, price it right, have repeat customers.
Well, I think you just uncovered potentially a logical fallacy that we run into in entrepreneurship, which is, I don't want to fail. I don't think people have a fear of failure. Mm-hmm. People have a fear of failing publicly.
Exactly. Right.
But here's the logical fallacy.
Okay.
Let's say you host an event and you put up a flyer, video, whatever, some marketing collateral. People see it, nobody signs up. If nobody signs up, who's going to be there to report that nobody signed up? Nobody. Yeah. I don't know if 100 million people came, or right. So, and most people are so busy in their own world, they do not care. So the idea is, if you are an entrepreneur, you want to increase your failure rate, technically. Yeah. And now the platforms, to your point, have now matured to allow that to be more efficient. For example, did you know that Instagram recently unveiled A/B testing?
Yes, I've seen it. I've not used it, but I've seen it.
Most people have not used it, but it's probably one of the most, I would say, it's probably one of the most effective but underutilized features on Instagram, because imagine this. So basically the way it works is you could put out a reel, and it's called a trial reel, right? So the trial reel, once you put it out, it's not going to go to your current audience. It's going to go to a new audience that doesn't follow you. If it performs well, then you could post it to your main audience. If it doesn't, you just take it off, or expires, actually, no action needed. And so these little ways to be able to understand and deepen your expertise. Same thing with YouTube. When you post when you post to YouTube, one of the most important things that you want to have is a engaging thumbnail.
Yes.
You sitting there may think, oh man, this is the best thumbnail I've ever done. Your audience is like, eh. Right. So by being able to put up 3 variations and then let the winner naturally rise to the top, that's an incredible marketing tool for free, or just baked into the platform that we now have access to. So I think sometimes you know this, I'm a big believer in slowing down the speed up. A lot of times we're trying to get volume, we're trying to get followers and views and all these different things. But if you can, it's going to be challenging. And this is something we're still working with Black Speakers Network. Until you deeply understand the audience that you're attempting to serve, it's going to be challenging to sell them things.
Yeah, true. And that's so important. I won't be clear. I agree with everything you said. And that's the point why I brought it up, because I think so many entrepreneurs face that and think, oh, I look like Fed. No, people don't care. They don't know. So you don't let your thoughts and what you think other people are thinking about and how they're looking at your business impact you progressing. I think I see what podcasting are, because that's my main thing, to help people podcast. Oh, I did 3 shows and no one watched it. Now I'm going to stop. It's 3 shows. Nobody know who you are. Keep going. So I love that. Let's jump into, I'll bring on my notes now, Brian. So you're talking about future-proofing your platform.
Future-proofing your platform.
We want to talk about that because, and I try to incorporate this in conversation as much as I can, because it's not going away, artificial intelligence. And you talk about the top skills to thrive as a speaker in the age of AI. So let's talk about, first of all, what we should expect in the next 10 years or so. We're talking about artificial intelligence, how it impacts speakers and the industry itself.
Yeah, well, let's talk about where we are right now.
Okay.
So at the time of this episode, we're rounding out 2025. Mm-hmm. Not the date, future. But do you remember what you were doing on November 30th, 2022?
22?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can look at my calendar, but not off the top of my head. No, I really don't know. No,
to me, that was a date that the world stood still, because you know what happened on that date?
No.
That was the date that ChatGPT was introduced to the world for the first time.
Oh.
November 30th, 2022. And I feel like that is an inflection point, because there's a world just like we had pre-pandemic, post-pandemic,
right.
pre-9/11, post-9/11. Like there are some things that are essentially, in anime world, we call them canon events. There are some canon events that literally change the shape and the narrative and the way we interact with the world moving forward. ChatGPT launched, and in 10 days, they gained over 1 million followers. Oh, excuse me, 1 million active users, I should say. One of the fastest platforms in the history of products. It's a product, but one of the fastest products to reach 1 million users in 10 days. They reached 100 million users in less than 2 months. Now, just to put that in context, you know how long it took Facebook to get to 100 million users?
It's like 10 years or something like that.
It took them 4.5 years.
Oh,
4.5 years. Instagram, it took them almost 3 years. Yeah. And TikTok, which, is breaking all sorts of records, we'll talk about that soon. It took TikTok 9 months. ChatGPT is, to your point, here to stay. But this year, when you look at Google, Apple, Microsoft, all the big integrators, they're spending over $400 billion collectively in AI infrastructure. You don't spend $400 billion if you don't think that something's going wrong. So the world has fundamentally changed since November 30th, 2022. And it doesn't really matter if you are a speaker, author, coach, creative, influencer. It doesn't matter if you're a medical doctor, a lawyer, a barber, a beautician. The World Economic Forum has said that 44% of all job skills will need to change between now and 2030. That's 4 years away, basically. So this is a fundamental shift that we're living through.
Yeah, and I think that last part you just said is what has scared so many people. And when you're afraid, you kind of freeze. People are afraid. What do you mean it's going to shift? And I think that my job's going to be replaced. I think so. I mean, that's been the big thing. AI is going to take jobs. AI is going to take jobs. And at that point, you got a choice to make. If you know you have a job that could be taken by AI, you're either going to figure out what you can do to position yourself to benefit from the AI, so that you're in front of that and still have can do something. Maybe have to change. Maybe have to reposition how you're doing something, or you're going to sit back and just let it happen, which is I think the worst choice, and just be like, oh, whatever.
Well, some people think it's a phase.
Yeah, right.
Like,
right.
because we get so many of those too.
Yeah.
2 years ago, or 3 years ago, everybody was running around talking about NFCs and Bitcoin, and that those things still are around, but it didn't fundamentally shift the way we operate.
Everybody's trying to buy some imaginary artwork online somewhere.
I bought a bunch of it.
Did you?
Yeah.
And what you do with it?
I don't know. It's this guy. I don't even know how to log into it.
I've always been a slow adopter to tech stuff, because I'm like, if it don't make sense, I can't jump in. Like I didn't know what even when if I'm signing up for a service online, I need to know. I'm going through the whole website to find where is the cancel button first, because they get you. You get in, like, you don't know how to even cancel. Right. You can't find who I email. So so I've always been slow about that stuff. I just got hip to chat. It's probably not even maybe a year. It's been over a year, but not over 2.
With ChatGPT?
Yeah.
Okay. And you like it?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it because I've learned how to incorporate it and make things easier, where I know that it's not going to replace me in certain things, but it's only enhancing the services I can provide to clients myself. So it's like right now I found, and that's my thing. I tell everybody, instead of worrying about the whole AI industry, that's a big word, right? Big thing. Find the tools and the ways that it impacts you specifically, and what you can learn. Pick 2, 3, 4, 5 things that you need and master those things. And that's focus on that first, and then figure out your way after that. But
I think it's beautiful advice, because artificial intelligence is one of those things where most of the time, and again, you and I were born in a certain era, right? We've watched the evolution of, you remember rotary phones?
Yeah.
You remember you lived through.
For those who don't know, that's when you put your finger in, spun it all the way around, and put the number. You had to wait for the number to come back. Yeah.
TV used to go off.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, they used to play the
Star Spangled Banner. Right. Yep.
AOL discs. Mm-hmm. 1,000 Songs in Your Pocket iPods. Yeah. To the iPhone. Napster. We lived through LimeWire, the transition, another industry revolution. We lived through mobile banking online, and so we've lived through now multiple of these kind of S-curve technologies come through. And if you notice something interesting, the compression window, the time to adoption is compressed. It gets faster because we're not starting from scratch. We are building on an infrastructure. There's no way a product in the 90s could have launched the way it is now, because people didn't have computers. Right. Like when Microsoft Windows rolled out, they were still trying to figure out how to get people to use a PC. And if you have one, that don't mean you know how to turn it on and download stuff. And so now we have the infrastructure. We got data centers. We have high-speed internet. Everybody has a phone. Most people have 2 phones. TikTok right now, 1/5 of the global population has a TikTok account. Wow. So we don't have a infrastructure. When something new like AI, generative AI specifically, comes on the scene, it's just an app we download and we can start using it right away, get value. Now, here's the difference. In every other software before, there was this crazy learning curve. Yeah. You know how to use Adobe Premiere? Yeah. And how long,
I'm still learning. I use it all the time. I know exactly what to use. I know what to do to get what I need done, but I look at all the other options. I'm like, I don't know what that means.
So remember when you first downloaded your first Adobe product? It could be Premiere, After Effects, any of those. That thing has a 12 to 24 month learning curve, and then a curve on top of that curve. With ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, the tools that we have now, they have learning baked into it. And so even if you don't know how to use it at all, You could just type in a question like, hey, how do I do this? How do I get better? How do I create?
Yes.
And it will teach you how to use it.
Yes.
Teach you how to ask better questions, teach you how to write better prompts, teach you how to stay organized. And I have not bumped up against a use case that it hasn't helped me get better at.
Yeah, that's so great. I think one of the reasons I'm in the what do you call it, creative arts field. So it's like you see photographers, videographers, they're mad like because people go make these great videos, create these great pictures in a couple seconds with a prompt. And these cats been working for 10, 15 years to figure out how to do that. So they're like, no, you are taking an easy route. Well, yeah, sometimes easy route works, right? But the same thing about the learning piece, and I didn't know how to frame that, so I appreciate you putting that, is that anything you don't know, you just ask it how. I talked to my wife, and she's opening up the AI now. I'm like, yo, learn it. Do whatever, figure out something you want to do. And it's like, she asked me, well, how do I do it? I don't know. Ask AI. Ask it. It will tell you how to do it. So I love that.
Google's mission statement was, they probably still have this, but at one point their mission statement was to organize the world's information.
Really? Wow.
Simple and elegant. We want to, if it's been written, if it's been spoken, if it's been tweeted, if it's been whatever, like we want to give you access to it. They've effectively done that. So remember how we used to call the internet the information superhighway, and we were in the information age?
Yeah.
We're no longer in the information age. We're in the age of insights. People, and so, which is interesting because when we first started as speakers, authors, coaches, you remember we used to brand this as the information marketing industry.
Yeah, I just said that not too long ago, the infopreneuring, what we used to call it. Yep.
Yeah, you pay for information because you can take a set of information, I don't care what it is, like you need to learn you want to learn how to build a membership community? Great. Join my community, or you buy a course, or you do this. And those things still exist, but what we're finding is that information largely is free. Largely. What's not free is contextualized insight, strategy, accountability. And so that's the reason why it's important now when we talk about future proof. It is critical that we are speaking to the needs of the evolving needs of our audiences. And audiences don't want to read a book per se. They want the result that the book provides. They don't want to take a course. They want the result that the course provides. They don't want to join a membership community. They want to do whatever that community has promised.
Yeah, absolutely. This is good stuff. Y'all getting this? This is good stuff. I mean, Brian's dropping it. You're dropping that science. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come right back. We're going to get into the future of speaking, and then we're going to get into your framework and really break it down. This is great stuff. You're watching Born to Be Dope. Be right back after this. Listen, content creation is not your problem. Clarity is. You can create and post all the content in the world and still not see the results you want because of one main reason. Your content lacks one clear message for one clear audience. And if you've been posting, recording, guessing, overthinking, and still not converting how you know you should, it's not because you lack talent, it's because you haven't cracked the code yet. Believe me, I've been there. That's why I created the Cracking the Content Creation Code. It's a free guide I put together to assist authors, speakers, and experts to finally position yourselves as the go-to authority by producing compelling, high-impact, high-converting content in just 4 hours a month. In this free guide, I'm going to show you how to master your signature message, build a revenue-generating media platform, and maximize your content to multiply your efforts across platforms. If you've ever thought, I know what I want to say, I just don't know how to package it and consistently show up in a way that gets me booked and actually makes me money, this is for you. But I'm a trainer at heart, so I'm taking it a step further. I'm hosting a free live webinar, Cracking the Content Code, Mastering Your Message, where I'm exposing the one thing 80% of personal development content is missing that stops it from converting, and I'm breaking down the exact framework I use to amplify my client's voice, story, and authority before they ever hit record. You're going to leave this webinar knowing who your ideal customer avatar is and exactly how to market to them without being salesy. So download the free guide and save your seat for the next free webinar, and let's get you creating the content that actually speaks directly to your ideal prospect, magnifies your brand like an authority, and monetize your expertise. Head to mypodcastpartner.com/code and let's get it cracking. I'll see you on the other side of the webinar. Be dope. What's been your biggest challenge in building your career as a speaker? Has it been getting on more stages? Has it been getting paid higher fees? Or maybe you're trying to get more media coverage for your brand? If you answer yes to any of those, or maybe you say yes to all three, then I've got your answer. Their answer to getting on bigger stages and getting media to spotlight you is to show up looking like someone who's already getting more speaking engagements, is already getting paid higher gigs, and who's already getting media coverage when they come looking. How do I do that, Ryan? I'm so glad you asked. You do that by positioning yourself and partnering with platforms that magnify you and your message and position you as an expert authority that shows prospective clients, hey, here's the expert you should book. Here's someone who's invested in their career. Here they are in action doing what they say they do. And that's what the 8-week Born to be Dope Media Builder Camp builds for you. Enrollment in the upcoming 15-member cohort is open now at borntobedope.com/camp. This is your opportunity to have a professional team build your entire visual brand and marketing ecosystem with you, plus produce your most critical video content. You need professional video footage and photography of you in action? Check. You need to magnify your celebrity authority status to increase your expertise and speaker fees? Check. You need your marketing system like a lead gen tool, signature talk, visual assets, sales funnel, and more designed and built out? Check. You need media training to master your message and make you a great guest on TV shows and podcasts? Check. And you need a proven media company with a track record of success to work with you? Check. This Media Builder Camp isn't a course full of self-paced videos. It's not a masterclass or a challenge. This is a live, weekly, done-with-you coaching and implementation. Building this thing with you. Plus, after the 8 weeks, you get a half day in our studio to film all of your visual assets. So if you're ready to maximize your impact, influence, and income, go ahead and visit borntobedope.com/camp to schedule your free discovery call for full details. I look forward to speaking with you and learning all about your platform. Can't wait to help you be dope. All right, we are back. I am Ryan C. Greene, back here with Brian Oles. We're talking about future-proofing your business. We're talking about the speaking industry specifically, founder of the Black Speakers Network, and we're going to get right. I want you to talk now about the old, because we're talking about AI and all that stuff. Let's talk about the old speaker industry, what the speaker industry used to be, and what it's transitioning and becoming, if it hadn't already become that. So,
yeah, I think like every industry is always evolving. So I'll speak to my participation and what I've seen. So professional speaking you used to hear people using terms like the speaker circuit, right? So the idea was to go out and be able, whether you're joining a speakers bureau or you're going to be a college or university speaker or a corporate speaker, the idea was to package up a program, go out and deliver it. And you do a good job delivering to a T. Rowe Price or, University of Maryland, and you get a referral, and then you move forward. In today's market, speaking is so, and that was you getting on stage and finding, you have an audience.
Yeah.
Now your stage is essentially your cell phone.
Yeah.
Your audience is still the world. And so whatever method that you have to reach your audience should be the platform that you leverage. And so now for some people that's TikTok, for some people that's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I want to take a beat on YouTube for a moment, because YouTube, again, 2005, I believe, is when YouTube spun up.
Yeah.
That was 20 years ago. It hasn't been that long, but it has been a long time in the tech world, but not a long time in terms of like human doing stuff, right? YouTube is now the number two search engine. That's changing. We're going to talk about that. Okay. However, one of the interesting things is that when it comes to individuals making purchasing decisions, and when I say individuals, I'm talking about both consumers and B2B business owners. I struggle to think of something that, especially if it has a comma in it, like if I'm cutting a check, if you're buying even like a table or a nice television, you're going to do your research, and it's probably going to involve YouTube. Yeah. And so as a speaker, if you are not discoverable on these platforms, the natural question is going to be, well, are you really doing this? Like, I can't find you. If I can't find video of the thing that you say you do, it's going to be a tough sell. Yeah. And so now we are advocating for a content first approach, because visibility, without visibility, that's the table stakes to even be able to get into the room to have an opportunity to have a conversation. Now, what it also does, it gives you the ability to now continuously serve your audience long after you walked off the stage. And so before you deliver a presentation in a room in front of 100 executives, once that presentation's over, you might get some footage. Remember, you had to wait to get the footage like a couple weeks later. It's probably grainy. They didn't have the audio, mic, lavalier. Now, somebody could be consuming your content at 2 o'clock in the morning, clicking on your products or services. And so that's the direction we're trying to make sure folks know about.
I know some of y'all are going to think, if you follow me, you probably think that I told Brian to say that, because I tell you all the time, the best ability is visibility. I tell you all the time.
That is your quote.
That you've got to show. I don't know if I created it, but I know I say it. So I've
heard you say it.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's all about, I say, when people go looking for what you do they find you doing it? If people are hiring speakers, they want to see you speaking. Right, so you got to have the content, you got to have it. And I know people are diving into the AI video type stuff as promotion, but I'm like, I don't know how many people are hiring speakers based on your AI video. They want to see authentically you, which kind of takes us, they want to see you perfectly into your ABC model. Yeah. But they want to see you. So we want to talk about how to mirror things. Like, I use AI in my stuff. Most of it is back office. Most of it is how can I edit faster. Like this podcast, we're doing a 3-camera shoot. It's going to be edited and cut in AI. I'm using AI for that, to do that. But I'm still watching it. I'm still in it. My human touch is in it. When I go and market it and tell people about it, they're going to see us talking and not seeing AI avatars of us. So it's different, But that leads us to your ABC model that you've been teaching that we want and really want to share now, is that A is authenticity.
Yes.
So let's start with that, because I'm big on that. I love that. That's, again, Born to Be Dope is about being authentic, being unapologetic, being you. So let's talk about authenticity. Why that's important? Why is that how you started this whole thing?
Yeah, man, I think it's a great place to start. So first, I do want to just give context. Nobody knows how this is going to shake out. Again, November 30th, 2022 was less than 3 years ago. I don't even think it's been 3 years.
Plan and do for what we are in right now.
Exactly. Yeah. So what's important to note is that this is a dynamic, moving landscape, right? Mm-hmm. And so the ABC framework that we're going to talk about is not dependent on a specific technology like ChatGPT, like Anthropic, Claude. Mm-hmm. I think the idea is that we have to remain flexible in our thinking, and also flexible. Like if you're a type of person, not you, but if you're a type of person that just does not want to learn anything else, and like and granted, many of us are experts at what we do. So, but we all have to be continuous learners.
Be continuous too.
It is, before it was kind of, I felt, but we say that, but in the 90s, I feel like it was like a cute thing to say. It was like, yeah, maybe I'm gonna take a certification. I'm gonna do a skill path seminar once a year, whatever. Like our idea of continuous education isn't what the world calls for now. What we used to call continuous education was, I might take a class once a year, whatever. Now, no, you need to be, if you haven't been on YouTube, if you haven't listened to a podcast, and books can't even get printed. By the time an AI book is printed now, that joint is out of date, unless it's an ebook.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So when I say continuous education, I mean true continuous education.
Like you gotta have it part of your day, like part of your daily calendar, like this hour block, I'm learning.
Or it's true, or just I like to have my learning be a little bit more organic, baked into what I'm already doing. So for example, again, because AI can teach you as it goes, if you're coding a project, like we recently launched a new event a new series called This Is the New Normal in Black Speakers Network. And so as we're doing that, we're building landing pages. You introduced me to Gamma and a bunch of incredible AI tools. If the tool does something that you don't understand but gives you a result, you can ask it in the moment, like, hey, why did you do that? How did you code that? Like, why? So you can have it teach you in real time instead of just going after the answer. Learn how it did it so that you can then reverse engineer the result to make other connections as you're working on projects. So we ain't even getting into the ABCs yet, but that's just an aside.
That had nothing to do with authenticity, but that was still dope, because I'm like, And that's the thing. Look, especially let me speak to the older folk, right? And Brian,
This is yep.
Brian is younger than me, but I mean he's still grown. So like I'm 50. So people in my generation,
I'm 40. Just so you know.
yeah. So like that 10 years is a huge difference though. A lot of time for a lot of different things. But yeah, but my generation of people, it's like it's hard to want to go and pick up something new to learn. So how you did it, how you explain it rather, I think is very powerful. Where we're taught sit in a class, read a book, have traditional instruction to learn something. Got to go get the certification. You know, it was like, no, ain't nobody worrying about no certification right now. The 9 months might take you to get a certification. You could have built $1 million business.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
AI, figuring it out along the way, and learning how to code and do those things. So, man, I just think about all the kids that we put in STEM programs, told them to learn how to code. Now AI, anyway, that's not what we're talking about.
No, but I think we still gonna need coders. I think you're speaking to boomers, baby boomers, Gen X.
Gen X, that's me, but baby boomers too, but Gen X because we got to help the boomers.
So do you know who's killing it on? Are you familiar with UGC? Like user generated content. So so firms, companies, have all sorts of marketing activities. Companies will pay. I'm gonna say creators, not influencers. They will pay creators to essentially create mini commercials using their phone, like around the house. So you've seen those TikTok videos already, like, oh man, I love this salad tosser. I love this, but you can do that for hearing aids. You can do that for medical device. You could do that for things around the house. To your point, going back to our childhood, most of us grew up, if you had access to TV and not cable, you probably had 5 to 6 television stations. Right. The vast majority of Americans were getting their information from one of those like 3-letter, ABC, Fox, CBS, or whatever. Now, information is so distributed. There's so many cable channels. There are so many streaming networks. There's so many online platforms. Attention is so fragmented that you can no longer, like the fact that we're still seeing events like the Super Bowl and, things like that have not tens, but potentially hundreds of millions of viewers are becoming more rare. The idea now is that you can't just have put an ad on TV and get the type of impressions and reach. You need to, and also consumer tastes have changed. We've been over advertised to in so many ways. And so now if you're a marketing executive at a major, I don't care if it's a Procter and Gamble, if you're trying to sell me more cereal, more toothpaste, let alone, trying to sell like some sort of services, you have to be able to cut through that noise. And one of the ways to cut through that noise is with short form video. And short form video specifically now, because we now have 20 years of data and 20 years of being trained, our attention span is almost non-existent. And so it's not even just enough to have a short form video. When I say short form, I'm talking about vertical formatted video under 60 seconds. That vertical format video also needs to change every 2 seconds in order for me to not click off of it. True. Yep. And so all of these things now come to a place. And so as marketers, which if you're in business, you're a marketer. Not sure if you know that, but
absolutely. If
you are in business and you're a marketer, the number one thing you need to make sure you know how to do is reach your audience. It's not good enough just to be dope.
Yeah, absolutely. Now let's talk about reaching them in that authentic way, because you talk about those videos and people who do that. And, I'm one of them skeptics. Like every time I see something, I'm like, are you getting paid for this? Like, and a lot of times we'll see those they're ads. Quite honestly, they're ads. But they don't necessarily always say, hey, I'm being paid to tell you about this.
Well, if it's something you can click on, it's an ad.
Right. So talk to us then about how do we begin to build that authenticity in our content. If I'm a speaker and I want to develop and put out authentic content in those short form videos, what are some ways that I can make sure I do that? Because like you said, I think you had a stat on how, back in the day, having a commercial on TV was the way to go. But now it's like that money is going towards people on these social media apps. As everybody wants to monetize, everybody's trying to do stuff to make monetization money off their their posts, whether it be through views or actually getting paid to post it. So how can we, in an authentic way, do this content that is promoting something, making us money, but we still want to make sure people see the realness?
Let me put some framework around. So when I say authenticity, I'm not talking about a specific platform. What I'm saying is you need to work on whoever you are in the morning, that person you wake up as, to the extent that you could remain that person throughout the course of you delivering programming, throughout the course of you delivering content. I think those people will win.
Okay.
Some people I want to point at. Kai Cenat. Who, if you don't know, if you're under 40, you don't know who that is. He's one of the biggest.
Over 40, probably don't.
Over 40, sorry.
Yeah.
He's one of the largest streamers of the world. You look at people like Mark Phillips, RDC World One. You look at a Mr. Beast. I'm gonna start naming bigger people, or like a Phil DeFranco. I'm naming YouTubers and streamers because I think that one of the reasons, and this new dude now, I Show Speed. I don't know if you've seen him.
I've not seen or know what he does yet, but I keep hearing people talk about him.
You know what he does?
No, I have no idea what he does.
Exactly. But why do you know him?
Because people keep talking about him.
And why do people keep talking about him?
Apparently because he got videos.
He literally makes money being himself. So I Show Speed, he's charismatic. He's young. He's like a 20-year-old
what does
kid.
making being yourself mean? What does he like? Let's use him as an example.
Yeah.
I don't know who he is. Like I said, I heard.
Yeah.
What is he?
So he's a guy that streams. He started streaming his life. So he literally built his brand around what we're talking about now, which is authenticity. Like, he is who he is. He gets on camera, barks at people.
But nothing to do with speed. Like,
he is fast.
So that's not his content. He's not like running and racing.
See, this is the difference. So from our generation and beyond, like, we're used to, okay, I'm the world's best baker, or I'm the world's best, or I have, and having. I'm not saying you can't. There are people who are nicheless creators. So they don't have a specific niche. They are the niche. Like, they are entertaining, they are engaging. And so a lot of times you go into one of their streams, they may be reacting to another piece of content that somebody else put up. They may be talking about their day. They may be at walking through Walmart, be like, man, don't buy this, buy this. You know what I'm saying? They're just inviting you into their world. And again, I'm not saying that speakers necessarily.
Actually, how is a speaker not necessarily doing it that way? Because again, we're talking about I'm using authentic in my way as far as being unique. So as a speaker, I'm like, and as an entrepreneur, because I'm sitting there thinking like, I'm not sitting there watching somebody stream all day.
But somebody is.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Right. So that's my point. That's what I'm getting to.
Okay.
My mindset is that I'm not going to watch someone do that, so I may not know who they are, but the fact is someone will. So how do I, again, me being in general, as a speaker, let's bring it to speaking then. What would be something, and this is, you didn't prepare this, so I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, this is great.
But as a speaker, how do you show up authentically online? I do a bunch of, value content videos. I would love to do other stuff. I'm like, I just saw who said it? Omar El Takori, he was like, you are the content. Mm-hmm. A lot of times we shoot the video, we do that, but it's like doing the thing is our content. Like, we are the content. That's why a lot of people do behind the scenes stuff. But
it's true.
Yeah. So
it's I think you can peel back. So one of it is peeling back the curtain. Mm-hmm. You remember DVDs? You used to have like those DVD bonus featurettes.
I didn't call you here to make me feel old.
It's all baked into the stuff.
Yes.
The behind the scenes in a almost every situation is just as, if not more, interesting than the product itself.
Yeah, I agree. I love how it was built. Yeah.
All that stuff we want to see behind the curtain and right now I'm looking at your studio. It's some really interesting stuff to look at in here. If I'm in this industry, I'm interested in that. If I'm not in this industry, it's not. So first thing is knowing your audience. Mm-hmm. What does your audience hang out? What does your audience like? And what do they appreciate? So your audience might not, they're not going to probably watch a 24-hour live stream of you eating breakfast. Right. And going about your day, but what they would probably be very interested in is some BTS, like a BTS blog, or and again, probably a lot more curated than. I'm not saying go full Big Brother and install cameras around your house, but if you had like a a BTS, and I'm doing this too now because I have the Creators of Change podcast now. We have multiple properties on Black Speakers Network. What I'm realizing is every time I set up my camera, I'm documenting the process behind the scenes so that I'm able to, one, just for myself, know like, man, that was really hard getting that first shot set up, or I did have a challenging day, trying to get people here and edit video. I had a camera that died and all these things that happened to us. That's where the most relatability for your audience comes in at. The formula is still the same for all of business. We've been hearing it for the last 20 years. You got to build know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
Know, like, known comes from, hey, have I seen you lately?
Right.
Like comes from, I've seen you and you don't offend my sensibilities. I appreciate how you talk, your pace, what you do, your shooting style, your aesthetic, all the things that make you you are things that I appreciate. And then trust is that those things built up over time where in my mind, I'm like, oh yeah, Ryan's solid. Like I know if I turn on my YouTube or I go to this, like the consistency of content, he's not going to be one day talking about terrorism and then the next day he's talking about like pizza and then the next day he's in that lane. So that's the same thing. Every company in the world has to build know, like, and trust. The medium is just changing. And so wherever your audience is, my favorite thing to do, just ask them, like, hey, or test, like we said before.
Sorry, y'all. I'm actually in the workshop as I'm giving it to y'all. So I've got the advantage. I got the microphone, so I can ask my questions. Type your questions in the comments. Make sure Brian responds to them. So going to the next thing in your frame, the ABC model is building. All right. So we've got our authenticity down. Now we want to build something.
Yes.
Let's start with that conversation.
This is where the rubber meets the road.
Okay.
So going back to the AI piece for a moment, a good model to think about is picture whatever you do, whether you're author, speaker, coach, creator, think of that's the car, that's the vehicle that's going to get you to a specific destination. Depending on what type of vehicle, and now we have electric vehicles as well, so this analogy might fall apart, or this metaphor, but in a traditional gasoline-powered vehicle, you need to have different sort of gasoline you put into it. Yeah. The gasoline is important because certain engines only work with certain gasolines. AI, I think, is like that fuel. And so if you have a premium vehicle, you need to put premium gasoline in it, and AI is that accelerator that's going to get you to the destination faster. Now, when it comes to building, I believe that we kind of need to look at it in phases. So level one is you just need to build presence, right? You need to show up. And when I say show up, I mean show up consistently. Like I'm talking about, and again, show up how? Authentically, consistently to your audience, wherever your audience hangs out. So if your audience hangs out on LinkedIn, you should be showing up on LinkedIn probably daily, if not multiple times a day. If your audience is on TikTok, you should be posting to TikTok once, probably multiple times per day as you are building up followership. If your main platform is YouTube, even if it's not, and don't get too I get maniacal about the numbers, because consistency could mean daily, but consistency could also mean once a week. Consistency could mean twice a month. You know what I'm saying? Whatever consistently means, but your results will multiply. Your activity will be a force multiplier on your results at the end of the day. So that's the level one, is you have to build a presence. And once you get comfortable building a presence and showing up consistently, then you could go to the next level, which is building community.
Well, we jump into community. I want one last thing about presence, because I think that a lot of people I encounter, there's always a new app, or someone having a big new one recently, but you got
Sora.
Is that considered like, is that?
It is.
I mean, you can create. People can get on. I've not messed with it yet.
It is. It's its own app. It's our first new platform since Threads.
Okay, so see, I'm not even familiar with it because I'm still like creating my own stuff.
I think it's invite only right now, but the point is,
So my thing, like, everybody has like, where do I go? Like, I got to be here. I got to be here. I got to be here. and tell me what you think. I'm like, okay, once you have tried all the things, you're going to get some kind of data to figure out where my people are. Where's my message resonating with people? What platforms is my content hitting? Then also, when we talk about monetization, where are my clients coming from? So I think a lot of times we fall into the trap of thinking about popularity. I always say, do you want to be popular? You want to be profitable?
Yes.
So popularity is one thing, but if you go to the profitable, where are people actually buying, and where's your stuff converting into clients? So then you can hone in. All right, look, I need my main 3 platforms, something like that. So that's where you want to make sure that once you pick those platforms, then all right, it comes easier, because that's simple thing. I gotta post 10 times on Instagram, 2 times on YouTube, 13 times on Facebook. Like, find your platforms, find what works for you, and stick with that.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I think we get to like, I get it, because for most people, social media is almost like a necessary evil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's like we don't want to do it, we have to do it.
Do it, right?
Yeah. And so again, I think authenticity will help with that, because if you are, so most speakers would love to get in front of an audience of 100 people, about 50, 100 people, 20 people. I'll show up. So I'm still going to deliver, but 100 people, 20 people, great. 100 people, okay. 500 people, man, 1,000 or more.
Right.
When's the last time you've been on stage with 1,000 or more people?
Yeah.
YouTube Shorts, give you an example. That's a platform by itself. Like, so you have just in the same way, Instagram, when Instagram first came out, it was photos only.
Yeah.
They didn't introduce Reels, I think, until 2022. When Reels was first introduced, and anytime there's a new social media platform, or anytime there's a new like way to engage with that platform, like a new feature or something like that, you're always going to get like outsized returns, because they're trying to
boost it.
Yeah. And so I recommend that. It doesn't mean you have to spend all day on it, but you can repurpose content from another platform. It takes literally a few minutes now. And we're talking about AI. AI can fully manage your content calendar. AI can write scripts. Like, I have an entire, within ChatGPT, everything's organized into projects. And all of so Black Speakers Network has its own project. All of my other, like, I have a technology company now. We got a creative agency. We got T23 Studios. And so everything that we do can be effectively managed, like, in those chats. If I need to spin up an SOP, if I need to create content, I need to create a calendar, it's all right there.
That's why I called him Tony Stark, y'all. Tony Stark.
But I really want, like, my goal is to be able to walk into a section of my house and be able to.
Bro, I've known you long enough to know that much about you. Like, I know at least that much about you, that I know that's what you want to be. So I get it.
Because we're here now.
Right.
And it's not even science fiction. It's science fact.
Yeah. Let's talk about the community. That's one of the things that it's been each year I have a word, and community has been my word. I always, entrepreneurship can be lonely when you work from home and in our kind of business. So it can be, and I talked about earlier, we talked about testing, where you feel like everybody's watching, waiting for this. I need somebody I can lean on. So I'm focused on building a community. We have the Born to Be Dope Leadership Cypher community that I've launched. I've tried Facebook groups, things like that, but I think, and this is through school, the app, SKOOL. So I love it so far because of everything is in there that you can do. So let's talk about community from your perspective, and we're talking about building that future-proof platform.
Yeah, so we talked about creating presence. Once you create a presence, what's going to happen is people are going to naturally ask, okay, what's next? Like, I want to work with you more. I want to learn more. So most of us have been trained to create an email list. Most of us have been trained to have some sort of place to some sort of method to capture contact information. Once you have that information, what do you do with it? And so now that's the difference in community. With community, I'm not talking about, because you mentioned some of the platforms, and I think we're going to get to that.
Yeah.
But the community is just a group of people who have shared values, interests, and goals. And so I believe we are moving to a world, as our world gets bigger, we are going to get a lot smaller in terms of how we interact and engage in the individual worlds that we live in. A quote that I love, I can't remember who said it, but I heard this so long ago. Like, we live on one planet, but many different worlds.
Yeah, that's
All
true.
of us are walking around in our own little individual world. Some of us are in a sports world. Some of us are in a sports betting world. God help you. Some of us are in that thing's getting crazy. But generally speaking, we all have our own individual things that we're getting into. And so now, one of the interesting things is that we need to be able to have protected spaces and places to be able to learn, to have communities of accountability, because most of us, the idea is that we want to do the right thing, but if I got somebody next to me like you, or a Rodney C. Barris, or other people that are on the same trajectory, and they check in like, hey Brian, like, how's the book launch coming, like how's the podcast coming, like do you need help, or even if not, let's say something good happened. Like, one of the things I use AI for now is tracking my daily wins. It's literally called Brian's Daily Wins. And every day I just speak into it like, hey, had a Born to Be Dope podcast today. Hey, I small accomplishments, big accomplishments, but I'm tracking everything now and I'm getting a lot of data. Once I track that information, I can then convert that into programs and things of that nature. So with communities, I think the biggest thing is to be able to get out of our own way and more deeply access the knowledge and information that we're trying to do anyway. Information is largely useless until it gets put up into the real world. It's the Mike Tyson thing. Like, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Yeah.
So in community, and that's why I love you created a Born to Be Dope cipher. You should join Ryan's community if you are trying to move forward in business, because the reality is, it's all the things you mentioned. Business is lonely, it's hard, it's confusing, and sometimes you just need a place to pressure test your own sanity, because the vast majority of the world is not set up to reinforce successful entrepreneurs. The world is built around employees. Like, everything's like, even when you apply for an apartment, they're like, give us your pay stub. I don't have pay stubs.
Right,
I can give you my last year's financials. You want that?
Right.
They're
This
like,
year's much better, but you want to look last year. I can't even show you this year now, but yeah, absolutely.
so healthcare, all that stuff, they're like, everything's built around employees. So from an experience perspective, when you have a 12-hour day as an entrepreneur, some of us are dualpreneurs, we work full time, or we have portfolio careers, and you have side hustles or whatever. When you start to build your thing and you start running up against, people's not paying you, systems are down. We had a Cloudflare outage yesterday. When things happen that disproportionately impact entrepreneurs, you need a group of people to be like, is anybody else feeling this way?
Right.
Y'all, this is crazy. Okay, just want to make sure. I think that's important.
Absolutely. Now we'll get to the platform. Talking about where those communities go.
Yes.
Or how are you defining platform?
I'm mapping the evolution of BSN as I talk about this, by the way, because that's what I started. I started posting consistently. BSN started on Twitter. Then we moved to Facebook, and then we moved to like some of these other platforms. So if anybody trying to get overwhelmed with platforms, you start and you snowball ahead. Now with Black Speakers Network, creating a platform, at the stage where we were creating a platform, we wanted to make sure that it represents the culture that we're trying to drive and has mechanisms in place to bring in the types of people that we're trying to attract. So, for example, one of the biggest features for Black Speakers Network for a long time was a Facebook group. Yeah. Facebook groups can be heaven or hell. Like, I don't know, you've been in some.
I've admin several, and I agree with that 100%.
Facebook groups are a pain in the ass. Yeah. They can be. But here's the thing. That's in itself is not a platform. It's just a group. But when you say, okay, we're going to host a speaker development class every Thursday, we are going to host a speaker directory where folks can sign up. And then now, oftentimes, I don't hear about speakers who get booked through Black Speakers Network sometimes for months later, because they're like, oh yeah, we didn't, because organizations can come to us and request speakers or sign up to be a media partner or do any number of things. But most of the time, if they find somebody talented right in the directory, they can go right to them. They don't even need to talk to us. So that's a platform.
Speaker bureau, you just excellent.
That's the difference between a platform. Can value be created in your community in absentia? Can it happen while you're not there? If so, then you got a platform. And then the platform can then be turned over to other people to run portions of it. For a long time, we were doing guest hosting, events, the BSN platform. You've been a platform partner now for years. And so most of our services that we provide in BSN aren't provided by me. They're provided by a Ryan, a Quinn Conyers, a Cheryl Wood, And so the idea is that folks have access to be able to get these products and services in an easy way.
I love that, and that's really what I'm building towards as well. Is that
I see you.
You don't have to be the one to do everything, to provide all the information, to have every answer. And when you build that, going back to the community on that platform, then everyone else is excited. Everyone gets to buy in because they're like, well, I want to get a chance too. I'm gonna be able to talk about what I do and help and share my expertise. Heck yeah, I'm in. So and that comes from having an abundant mindset, not a scarcity mindset. You feel like, look, it's my name may be on the list as founder, but it's all about building everybody, man.
Exactly.
So let's keep it moving. Cameras are starting to die on us.
Oh, no.
Yes, we're going to talk to them right there.
Okay.
But let's talk about the last piece of this building part is the ecosystem.
Yes.
Take it away.
All right, so ecosystem is what we're building now. So we've gone through all those iterations, and essentially now you have a platform of an ecosystem is an interconnected group of platforms.
Okay.
Right. So you start with your presence, showed up consistently, then you built the community, and now you evolved your community up into a platform, and now you start going out and connect to other community leaders who also can offer complementary like products and services, but not just selling things, but now we're being much more strategic around how we move. And so when I think about an ecosystem, it's not just because when I started BSN, I wasn't thinking about all these other individual communities that we serve. But within BSN, within our ecosystem, we have a community of people. There are some people that really just want to be keynote speakers. Like they don't care about being like YouTubers. They don't care about being an author per se. They might write a book and it feeds in strategically, but they really just want to be on stage delivering content. But there's some people that really want to be everything. Like they want to be a coach, and they are coaching. Yeah. They are leading communities. They are hosting annual events. Some of them hosting monthly events. And so the idea is that when you think about how you want to set up your ecosystem, and again, this type of thing takes years, but the reason why I think it's future proof is because right now it's all about ownership. Everything is about ownership. If you do not own your audience, if you don't own the platforms, what they give the NF give, it can take it away
absolutely
overnight.
That's why people still say the email list is still, even though people hate emails, that's still one of the biggest ways to own your audience because you have that list.
Show me somebody who has a double opt-in list of 5,000 people around a specific topic, and you will show me someone who will never struggle to pay their rent or mortgage. Yeah. I don't think it's possible because you could spin up a $10 product, a digital product or something like that. But the goal isn't just revenue. What I'm saying though is when I'm saying future proof, we don't know what's coming.
Right.
What we do know is, for the most part, unless capitalism completely crumbles, which again might be on the table.
I think what we're seeing starting to happen.
It's beyond the scope of it. Bring me back for another podcast. We'll talk about that.
Right.
But for this, you absolutely have to stay. You have to create something where no matter what changes externally, your audience is still coming to you to deliver value. And again, it may not be something like right now, I don't own a podcast studio. I can send people over to you. I do not own a publishing company, but we can get books printed. Yeah. And so the idea is that you can set up these little toll booths, and that it opens up more revenue streams, affiliate marketing, digital products, being able to unlock brand sponsorships. Because now if me, you, and like, let's say 4 or 5 other, many of the BSM platform partners that are in this book, if we all got together, individually, a brand may, 100,000 community in BSN, I'm proud of it, but 100,000 to like, a lot of brands, they're like, oh, talk to us when you get to 1 million or 10 million or whatever. But if I came to 9 other of my partners who also had 100,000 person community, now we could put together a proposal, and it's going to have some extra commas attached to it. You know what I mean?
And that is how I've always looked at this media thing that I've been building. It's that building to other people, like the Greenhouse Media Podcast Network, and why I do what I do is about bringing. If I'm trying every day to try to get to a certain number of downloads to impress a company to come in and sponsor us, it's going to take a long time. If I go and say, hey, we've got 20 shows in our network, and now we're multiplying our success, and we spread it across the networks, the shows, now we're coming in with more power. So I 100% am with you on that, and that's how my mindset has always been about trying to build, like I said, the ecosystem. I didn't have the word for it. Didn't know that's what I was doing. But, that's always been the route. So if you are looking to produce a podcast and want to be down with Greenhouse Media, tired of people dancing all up in your videos, Suge Knight moment, come on to Greenhouse and show you how we can build that network, build that ecosystem together. I think we can do more together. Let's jump into create. We got to get out of here, man. You got authenticity. We talked about building, which was, I hope y'all getting this. Take some notes. Leave in the comments your favorite part so far.
It's the ABCs.
That's right. But let's talk about creating. Hold on. The ABCs is how I met you. That was one of my first, not met you, but you talking about Morgan. One of my first speeches was the ABCs of sales. Or something like that. Right? So the ABCs ain't going away. So I love this is a full circle moment right there. It just hit me that way.
I do not reinvent stuff, man. Yeah. Well, the C is create, and we've been talking about that organically already, so we don't need to go into it. But I do believe we are in a creator-first economy. Right now, table stakes is visibility. If you can be the best speaker in the world, if nobody's able to find you, it doesn't really matter. So at the end of the day, create. And when I say create, what's interesting now is that before, again, for a time, it was just good enough to be a speaker. It was good enough to just be able to have a speaker. We used to have these things called speaker one sheets, and we still do.
So
but
you used to, I'm like,
yeah, we still do, but nobody reads them.
Right.
But we have EPKs and stuff like that. Those are static resources, and they're helpful. But people need to be able to not just understand what you know, but they need to be able to experience you. It's like a restaurant. Like you can sit online and read about like Red Lobster's been rebranded, and they're doing a great job. You can sit at home and read about it, but till you go there and you taste the Butter Bay biscuits again and you get it, you're not going to know. And so you really, really have to make sure that people get an opportunity to sample what you are. When you go to Costco, they walk around handing out samples. That's your essentially your Costco moment, that toothpick. Like when you're out there handling, like every piece of content you have out there is a piece of meat on a toothpick that you're handing somebody. Like, you want to taste it? Yeah, I'm really good. I'm a great leadership coach. I'm telling you now, I'm a great, book publisher. I'm a great barber. How do you know? Take a look.
Yep. I call it bourbon chicken method.
Oh, the bourbon chicken.
Yeah. In the mall, they always try some bourbon chicken.
I actually like orange chicken. Like, that's mine.
Right, but they don't be giving away the orange chicken.
Because
they give away the bourbon.
Because they always give away dark meat, and I'm a white meat. So I think it's cheaper to give away dark meat.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Either way, you're on point with that. But that's it. You gotta create and just be willing to. You gotta be there. You gotta put yourself out there. No one.
But the thing I just wanted to mention with that is see all this equipment. This can be intimidating for a lot of people. Mics, cameras, lights. You can't mess this up. People actually reward you in this space for trying.
Yeah,
people reward you for showing up imperfect. Yeah. People love, like, there's a girl right now doing this whole series of watch me build $1 million business, and everybody's like literally watching her. We don't know if she's gonna fail or do it or whatever, but it's like people want to be a part of the journey. So I think going back to those generational differences before, we didn't want to put anything out into the world until it was polished. It was ready.
Exactly. Right.
It's counterintuitive now. Now, the less polished you are probably going, and unless you're trying to fake it. If you're trying to fake it, again, that's why authenticity matters.
Right.
But if you're like, man, I have no idea how I'm going to do this, but here we go. I don't even have the right stuff. People are going to be like, oh, do this. You're going to get free advice.
Yeah.
You're going to people helping you. But if you come in like, oh, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to fake it. Then people are like, okay, well, I guess he got it.
Yeah. That's I had an idea a while ago that I didn't do. Not because I didn't want to do it. I just ran out of time and forgot. I'm actually going to do it. I'm going to write my book live. I've been working on this Born to Be Dope book for a minute. I'm going to write it live. I'm gonna start. I was trying to think what could I stream, or not just necessarily stream, but what how can I make different content that's gonna resonate and show a different side? I'm gonna write the book live. I'm putting it on this podcast now. I got to do it.
I know you.
I'm gonna show y'all my system, how to do it, how I write my book in real time, live. I'm gonna do that. Thank you, Brian.
And if you want to take it a step further, you can. So as you're inviting people into that process. Mm-hmm. If folks are writing, like, so you can have like a writing club, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Unofficially, you don't got to do accountability and all that, but it's like, hey, anybody else writing a book? Starting on December 1st, every Tuesday from 6 to 7, I'm going to be like just on Zoom writing my book.
Yeah. I do that in the community, which I told y'all to join.
Oh, yeah, in school. It's that perfect. Yeah, that's perfect.
I do that in the community.
In the cipher.
In the cipher. But
isn't the cipher a group of people doing stuff anyway?
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, but what you were talking about, and this we really got to do. Really do have to go. We're talking about the and like the level of content, the quality. We talk about some people just do pick up your phone, just do it. That's going to resonate with some people, and that audience is your audience. That's why I talk about, again, going back to the brand. Who you want to attract? I want to attract people who want excellent video, who want to see something that stands out, who want to like, wow, that could be on a Netflix. That's what I want. So that's why I build.
Love it.
But there's plenty of people out there who are like, look, just pick up the phone and show me something in your car. I'm cool with that.
Yep.
And there's enough people for them too. So that's why I love when you talk about that create piece. Create where you are for who you're trying to appeal to, and don't worry about everybody else, because there's enough space for everybody. Look at Kevin on stage, one of the biggest. I don't want to call him an influencer either, but entertainers we'll call him. Started with some darn, he still does it on his phone. He got BET shows now, Hulu.
Country Wayne.
Yeah.
I mean, all these guys, like.
Start with the darn, they all started with a phone, right? They start with their phone, do some stuff like that. So yeah, I just had big dreams. Do all this, put all this money into this. But no,
you're right. You should start where you are, what you have.
Yeah.
And just get better.
Yeah, man. All right, man.
You're doing the right stuff.
Tell people how to get in touch with you, work with you. What are you offering to people now?
Yeah, I'm easy to find. Brian J. O's on everything. Black Speakers Network. As I mentioned, we do have so many opportunities to platform speakers now. So we have the new series coming up. This is the new normal. We spun that up because, again, this is the new normal. When you say this, I cannot think of a time in history where things have changed literally this much. And so if you're a speaker, author, podcaster, influencer, if you host events and you are looking to connect with the audience you're called to serve, I want to talk to you. But at the end of the day, I think that, number one, no matter if you're part of Black Speakers Network or not, I'm going to recommend you do what we do in Black Speakers, what we say in Black Speakers Network, which is keep speaking up wherever platform you are on. Keep showing up and keep speaking up.
Consistency is key. Make sure you get the book, Speak Up, The Ultimate Guide to Dominate in the Speaking Industry, forward by George Fraser, after by Les Brown. You got people in this book. I was mad I wasn't in this book.
Now they can actually get that for free. So if
it's free now.
Well, they join Black Speakers Network, I'll drop a signed copy in the mail to you.
There you go. And the reason I said we talk about, look, books still do matter, and especially when you got stuff like this, because you learn from people like I don't know all these people, but like Tiffany Bethea's in here, Dupe, Marshall Fox. Marshall doing some great things. Yeah. He designed his book, didn't he?
He did. Yeah. Dr. Les Brown did the foreword. Dr. George Fraser got Cheryl Wood in there.
So
Dr. Well. Yeah.
Imagine getting mentoring and tips and nuggets. I see Robert Youngblood.
Yeah. And
just have this kind of like your foundation. So if you're looking for speaking, that's the big thing, man. Do that. So, all right, Brian, man, I'm so glad you came through. Thanks for dealing with that traffic either coming or going. But getting out the house.
You make it easy,
Coming
man.
out here, man. Make sure, again, you subscribe to the show, share the clips out, help us build this platform. This is for you. So we're doing it for you. Follow me, Raji is dope on all platforms. Follow the show, Born to Be Dope. We'll talk to you next week. Continue to be dope. Peace.
This is the illest rhyme I ever wrote. Said I was born to be dope.